Good morning everybody and welcome back to Hartfield Railway. So I'm going to build another kit and thanks for all those that commented on the last kit build, the engine house, the engine shed. So I realised that the light wasn't too great, so I actually went out and bought a light. I bought this little LED light. I'm not sure if you can see that, but like a little LED light that kind of hangs up. Just a little cheap one. So I mean, this is it with it on, and that's it with it off. So it does make a difference. It actually makes a difference for me as well. So it makes it a lot easier to see as well. So, yay, new light on the workbench. Right, so what are we building this morning? We're building another Metcalfe kit. And this is what we're building here. It is the S&C Carlisle Goods Shed. P0336, and this is what's going to go on the new yard. It's going to be one of the builders on the yard, so I've got a thing for building kits recently. I really enjoy it. So yeah, let's get this open and find out what we've got to work with. Let's just cut the back of this open. Hopefully this isn't as long of a video as the other one. Let's see what we've got. Oh, right. Let's get rid of that. So we've got, oh, it's another one with like a little booklet style. Looks like it's going to be an interesting little build. Yeah. Right, so let's have a look at the instructions. So let's have a quick peruse of the instructions, and then I'll be back with you to start the first section. Okay, so we start by making the inner gables, and these are made by the inner gable, which is this one here, and that one's going to go face down. You then place some bolster card on top like so. Then you place this one, which is the outer gable wall, and that looks like it's got a bit of pattern in here, and that's so you can do that. Place it like there, and then you've got this one here which then goes over the top, and that makes an archway. There is something quite fascinating about this kit that I've just noticed as well, is that here, I'm not sure if you can see that, there's like a cut out of a door. The door is actually in the instruction book just now, and that's depending on what side you want your little warehouse shed thing to be, that's where it goes. I'm not too sure where I want that just yet. And I was hoping there'd be another door. I was hoping there was going to be two doors, which allowed me to do. And so you got to attach the thing to the back. So where am I going to have it? I'm going to have it on this one. I'm going to have it on this one, just because I can. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut this door out. So you got to cut this little square out. Actually no, I'm going to have the office on this one, so I've got to do it on the other one, haven't I? Yeah, so I've got to do it on the other one like it's a back door. Because if that's going to be my front, on that side, I'll have to improvise. So we'll cut the other side out. We'll cut out this little door piece. Like so. And now what you're going to do, apparently, is to cut. I'm going to clean up these edges because the knife didn't cut very cleanly there for some reason. So now we've got to cut the door out of the instructions, which is a bit of annoying. It's actually not actually part of the it's not part of the cardboard. I'm leaving a little bit either side, by the way, just so that I can actually glue this on properly. So I've got some tabs to glue it onto. Let me lift that up. There we go, there's a top. Right. So, first of all, let's put the door in place, because that's what you have to do. paper door. Just a little bit of glue at the side here. There we go. And a bit up here as well. And literally to glue it to the back there, I imagine. Just got to line that up a little bit. Give me a minute. There we go. And it just sits in there like that. It just sits in there like that. So I've already stacked these in the order that I need to do them. So we've got that. Yep. So that's that one. Yeah, that's the outer one. So now we put one on top of it. So put some glue on top. Make sure to get all the way around the edges. And place that on there. Line the edges up a little bit. So it's nice and secure. So now this bit goes on top of that. I'm doing this upside down, by the way. Once again, a little bit of glue around the edges, make sure I get enough in there. So that's the inner, that's the inside of the house shed. And this bit is going to be the outside. So this needs to be on the other side, like this. So that we've still got the archway like that. And then finally, but not least, the double archway. Because this looks like it's like, I think the idea is this has kind of been going for like a converted building. I'll pop that circle out. And then that circle should show, wipe that off there, don't need that on there, should show the green pattern, the green grill. There we go. Just pop that on there, don't need it on there. Wipe away any excess glue. I realised I did it over the patterning marker. Right, and there we have it. Those are how the gable walls are built. So you've got, that will be the outside of the gable wall, and that will now be the inside. The inside is not going to have the office on the other side, if that makes sense. It's going to have the office, I think. Either way, I'll put it on one end or the other. Right, so let's crack on. I'll do the other gable wall off a camera because you've already seen me do it once. It's exactly the same process apart from the door. So there's no need to record that because I've already done it once. And we'll crack on and then we'll get moving on. So let me do this one quickly, allow that one to dry. I'll be back in a moment. Right, so now that we've got our gables finished, we've got to put the fronts on. So these are the fronts, like this. And what these do is, from, if I'm reading this correctly, they fit on something a bit like this on the front, and then these bits in the middle kind of wrap around. So that wraps all the way around. So it kind of just slots into place like so. And then the bits inside wrap around on the inside, like so. And it's all glued into place. So that seems like a reasonable thing to do. Quite easy, so let's get some glue going. Like I said, make sure you get down all the curves and all the little edges so that we've got glue to hold it all in place. And then we're just going to line this up nice and gently. Pull that side up, keep it nice and square. Pull that side up and push it down. Pull that side up, push it down. That up there, that up to there. And we've got one gable end of the new loading shed, goods shed done. Make sure this is nice and flush. So there's some glazing to go in here in a minute. I'm going to do that in a minute. And it hasn't told me to do the glazing yet, which is interesting. Right. So that's how that works. So we've got the front like that. It's got like a blocked up archway and an open archway. It turns around and it comes out a bit like that. And that's the one with the door in there. So this is going to be at the back of the shed. Or the front, depending on which way around you have it. It depends on which way you put it on the railway, I suppose. Right, so I'm going to do that to the other one, so back in a moment. Right, so the next part is to build the wall where the track is going to run. So that's where the archway is, because the trucks will come through one of the archways. And this again is built up in 4 layers. So we have the inside wall, that's this plain blank wall here. So that'll be going like that. There's then a wall that goes, an inner wall that goes on top, like so. Then there's another one. And then this is the outer wall, and there's like patterns on it, so that'll be going like that. So you'll get something with that on the inside of the building, and that on the outside of the building. And the glazing apparently attaches to this second one here. So, put them aside. These are the big glazing panels. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 4 ends because there's 2 walls obviously. So I need to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's this bottom row we need, which is going to fit on there. So let's get our ruler out. That light, by the way, just don't know if you haven't noticed, but it is helping me see a lot better when I'm doing this. It's really, really effective. So I'm hoping that it's doing well for the camera as well. It's making it a lot easier for me to see the details better without my own shadow getting in the way. That's only because the light's behind me, of course. Come on, let's get you cut open. There we go. So those obviously are the roof bits. I'll put that to the side. So there is 2 on here. I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera or not. That are marked end, and those have to go on the end because apparently they fit perfectly. Which, no, Metcalfe. Yeah, they probably do. So let's get these quickly cut out and stuck in place. There's the end one. Oh, you ever do that as a kid at school? Like just twang your ruler off the end of the table, like during the middle of maths class or something, and just really annoy everybody who was sat around you just because you could. It was an old trick. It was either that or I used to write yes or no on your rubber, and then used to, like, you know, be like, oh, am I going to go to, does she like me, or does he like me, yes, no, and it was always, you always put maybe on the other side, like the short side, just in case it landed that way. Never did. Never did. Wow, reminiscing about old school things. Never thought I'd be doing that at this time in the morning. Come on, let's get these cut. There we go. And the next one, stop twanging. And the last one. There we go. Right. Put that aside. Put put the other glazing aside for now, we don't need that at the minute. And let's get these glued to this section. So, here, 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 here. And we just put these on here. There's a one. There's a two. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turn it over and line them up. Actually, you know what, they're looking pretty well aligned for me. Tell you what I do like, I really like the pattern on these windows. They're very fancy windows. I don't know if you can really see that very well with the fancy windows. Right, so that attaches to the outside. So we're going to go outside to in. So we're going to do the outside one first. So let's get some glue on the outside one. Cool. Line that window back up, I've nudged it. And then line this up with that one. Ensure the edges are nice and flush. It's always good to stand them up like this, you see. It always makes the edges flush. Just going to double check the windows have not come out of alignment. Doesn't look like it. Right, so they're nice and flush. Line that window up so we can nudge it. That one too. Just want them to be perfect. There we go. That down. Right. Now another piece of card goes in on top of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the glue on the card first. Like so. And then place the card on top. Very gently. Don't want to knock anyone. Knock anything. There we go. Windows aligned. So that's that done. And then on top of that goes the interior wall. There's some little grooves in for some reason, so that then goes on top like that. It's starting to look a bit like a church or chapel with those windows, but line that all up. Make sure it's lovely and flush. Yep, seems good to me. Okie dokie. Now, the next part of the instruction says I've got to put the outer wall brackets in, apparently. Yeah. Okie dokie. So we've got, here we are, outer rail side wall and outer loading side wall. So we want the rail side wall, because the rail side wall is probably different than the loading side wall. Yeah, it is. So move that to one section. We'll just cut this piece out. Easy. There we go. Just move that to the side. I don't need that at the minute. Pop the windows out, so we're going to need those. And then this should sit in the middle on top of our wall, covering this area here. Right, so it's very carefully put this into position. We use the windows to align it, I think. That's probably the best idea. Yeah. So we use the windows to align it, that should be right. So that goes like that, and that's our rail side wall. And that will be going along this edge here for where the archway is. Where the tunnel is, yeah, because it's got a tunnel. Right, so let's move on. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. Yep, talking about that. Okay, right, so now what happens is these bits here should line up with them to finish off the pattern, which they do. How good's that? So they need to be glued into place. So we'll just put some glue on the edge here. I'm just going to align this like so, standing it up. I'm going to do it standing up. The building's going to be stood up, so it makes sense for it to be done like this. So what we're going to then do is we're going to lay it down on itself. Let's do this side. However, I did the right flap. And not the wrong side. Oops. Oh well, that happens. And this should slot in a bit like a jigsaw. And there we go. And that should hold that into place nicely. You can see we're starting to get the basic construction of the building done now. So I'm going to lay that down. Like so. Just put it over here out of the way for now. Just while the glue dries. Put something next to it to keep it nice and square. And then we're going to move on to the next section. The next section is building the other wall. So I'll give you a minute to cut the sections out. I'll be back with you. So the other wall is built exactly the same. Like literally exactly the same. Like it's completely the same. I'm going to cut out these little bits because you need these later, I think. So I'm going to cut these out. So literally you've got your inner wall, which is this long one here. Which then attaches to that, which attaches to that to become the outside. Yeah, basically, more or less. And the glazing goes on that one. So, I'm going to quickly get that done. It's pretty much the same construction, just a different shape. And then we'll move on. So we'll do that off camera and then move on. And just like that, there we have it. So that is going to be the outer wall. And just like the other wall, the other parts that are already on the building are going to attach to here and to here. These little tabs are a little bit fiddly to get into place though. These are like the inside of the doors. A little bit tricky to get stuck down. I'm working on it. Just holding them in place. And then this would be the inside wall. This is like the inside of the actual shed. Goods shed, whatever you want to call it. Right, let's get this attached to the main building. So we bring our main building back, turn it round, and this slots into here. And it all lines up to make a square building, which is just what we want. I'm just going to add the glue. To the correct areas. And pop that into place. Shouldn't take too long to get that stuck down. This is more or less all nicely stuck up back here as well. This glue is really good glue. I do use proper modelling glue. Oh, and these little tabs here need fixing down as well. I'm just going to get the glue in there and just fix those tabs round. Glue in, push around, bringing that in nice and securely. Come on. That one moved a bit there, that's fine. Getting that in place. These are the door tabs I'm on about, they're a little bit of a pain. Because they're just so tiny. So getting them to stick right is a bit of a pain, but if I can get them to stick, I'm happy. It's this one here that's playing up. This one's the one that's not doing it rightly. I don't know why. I'm working on that. Right, so now this is all lined up, I'll lay it down. I think I'm going to leave this to just dry up a little bit. Just dry for about half an hour or so. So I'll go make a cup of coffee and then we will crack on with the next part of the build, which I think is building the interior like platform part of it. It should be interesting to try out. Right, let's leave this to dry. Be back in a bit. Right, coffee has been obtained. Yeah, that's nice. So, now we go on to build the platform. So, the first part of building this platform is to put these little tiny laser pieces in. You know, the platform bits like this, but we'll be working with it like that. So according to these instructions, I've got to put these little bits on the underside out of the way. The first one is this one here on the edge, this like square U shape. Apparently it goes around the square here like this. It's got to be flush to the edges apparently. So we'll just use my knife just to get this into position nicely so that I don't mess it up. Just have a look at that a little closer. Just wipe some of this excess glue off so I can tell. It's only a very tiny bit, but yeah, that looks about right. And then these two bits have got to go along this edge here. Also, once again, they've also got to be flush to the edge, apparently. So put one there. It looks like it leaves a tiny gap in the middle, so I'm thinking something must slot into there later on. Get these pushed down, get them nice and flush up with the edge of the platform. Very delicate, very, very delicate, quite fiddly actually. Right, so we'll put that aside. Right, so now I need a few of the little bits, so I'm going to go and cut them out and I'll be back with you in a minute. Right, so these are all the bits to build my platform. So, just going to be following the instructions here as we go. So we've got the two cart dock walls here, and they go in here like this, just where we put our guider. I think that guider there is basically to just guide us where we need to be. So making sure I put the big flagstones on the bottom. This sits in this upper corner, like so, and the other one goes the other way, like so. Run the back. There's then the back bit, which then sits behind them to make like a little pan thing. Right, so now the fun bit is this back section. So according to this, what you're meant to do is these bits here, if you bend them around and around and around, you can make like sort of like a triangle, like a right angle triangle. So by doing that, put a bit on there like that to make these triangles, you get a perfect right angle. least that's the theory. Whether I decide to mess it up somehow, knowing me, it's beside the point. Splodge glue on there. And then those are supposed to help. If you ever made Metcalfe kits before, you know how they love making it like inner supports. We're running that down here. And adding the bottom, the platform base, or the base, the wall. And then what you're supposed to do, theoretically, is to literally glue these into position with these supports to keep it nice and straight, to keep it nice and flush as well. So these actually hold it, like sandwich it between the little rail we've done down here. If you can see that. So the little rail we've already put in place and the rail there. So we'll go ahead and do that on the other one. These also do add a little bit of structural support as well, so got a little bit of structural support as well. Put that there. Push that up, keeps it nice and straight, keeps it nice and even. Wonderful. So then we've also got these here, and these are the side mounting parts, and they just mount down the side by the look of it. So you've got the tab here, you bend that round, so that's that side. But you've got to make sure you're not doing the right. You've got to make sure you're doing it the right way up. You've got to look at the pattern on the brickwork, because I don't know how well you can see this on the camera, but at the very bottom of the brickwork, there's bigger stones, a bit like the foundation stones, like the more heavy-duty stones. Then there's the brickwork on top of that. So you want to make sure you're doing it the right way up. And this way, we're doing it upside down. And theoretically, if all goes to plan, this should sit on here. Just along the edge here, like so. Get it nice and flush with the edge there. There we go. Nice and simples. Great, now I sound like that meerkat off at telly. And then we'll do it on the other side. Glued the wrong side there. Gluing that side. Okay, no glue was hurt during the gluing of this model. You're not really going to see these, so well, you might if you look very, very closely. Let's get that in. Push that over a little bit because it's out of the way then. Get that down like so. And then that should be the platform, but we've got tabs here for some reason, I'm not quite sure what they're for. Right, so they must be attached to the building. So, according to this, they then have to build some stairs on the side that we've got our door at, which is this side. So, not quite sure what goes on the other side. Maybe nothing. Maybe it's just a bit of empty space. We just have a quick turn over the page and have a quick look. It doesn't look like there is anything else. Oh right, so no, it's definitely this side. This side's different, so it's got to be on this side. So no matter which way the door's on, it's going to go on there anyway. So according to this, you've got to put several pieces together, several step pieces together, which are over here, and build up some steps. So, blah blah blah, keep the edges at right angles, stack them up, yeah, six grey strips. shortest and longest 6 square strips out of G13. Okie dokie. So if we just move this over out the way to dry, and we cut our stairs out, which are these ones here. You're going to cut out there? Come on. There we go. Oh, they're not quite coming out, these ones, so just cut down there, cut down there, and there, and there, 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 and there to free them. There we go, look at that, easy as pie. To make them, take the 6 square strips, and glue one on top of the other, longest at the bottom, shortest first. Wunderbar. Right, okay. How many different stairs is there? So, I mean, do you fold these and then make the little steps? Yeah, so you fold these over. You fold these over and stick them down. We fold them over and we stick them down. Fold them over and we stick them down. You see where this is going? Fold them over and stick it down. They're not sticking. Stick it down. I'm not putting that much glue on them, to be fair. Come on, get down. All of you. There you go. Stick. Right, so once we've done all that, we then arrange it into little steps. So we take the longest one, like so. Put a bit of glue on. Add the next one. Keeping it flush at the back here. Add, start to run out of this glue. The next one, which is that one, keeping it. And you use the fold at the front, keeping it flush. And you can see that we're finally starting to make some little stairs. And the next one. Like so. Very clever how they measure all this out, I'm going to be honest with you. And then the next one, which is that one there. And finally, but not least, the last top step. And then these attach once these have dried. So we're just going to line these up so they're nice and even. So that no poor workmen that's loading our trucks and loading our carts and lorries and stuff, but, you know, falls up the steps. Apparently a step only has to be a couple of millimetres out for you to actually trip up over it. Would you believe that? One day I'll give it a try, find out what happens. Right, and then these attach to this part here, along here. That's going to be the tricky part, because they just literally bang on the side there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue on. Does it tell you how far out they glue? No, it doesn't. So I'm going to put some glue on the top here. And a little bit of glue on the side. Like that, plenty of it. I'm literally going to just eyeball this. So something a bit like that. I mean, does it go right up against this? Right up against? Right up against. Be nice and secure then, won't it? Yeah, just kind of eyeballing just how the steps are going to fit in there, just so they look alright. I don't think that's too shabby. It's just going to take a while to dry. Little platform pieces coming out. So now this goes in there. Oh, ain't that fun? Oh, and these tabs go onto the inside of the... No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. Then what do they do? What do they do? They must fit. Ah, I see. These fall down to glue to the inside of the building. Right. They fall down to glue to the inside of the building. I'm going to let this dry a little bit before I decide to stick it on. So I'm going to let this dry back in a little bit. Right, this has dried a little bit. So I'm going to try and put this in now. I'm not sure how well this is going to go. So the first one I'm going to do is these bits that overhang the inner arches here. I'm going to put a spot of glue on them so that they glue down. Like so. I'm going to flip it up like this, then do the tabs. Go on there, bit of glue there. I think the best way of me doing this is to do it with the building on its side, so that I can get this in without affecting anything else or catching anything else. So I just kind of get this in like this, slot those down. Come on, in you go. Oh, the stairs just fell out. And if we just turn it over on its side, I can just push these through. Come on, go through the hole. There we go. Very, very snug fit. Very snug. Pushed up against that wall. Like that. I'm just going to go retrieve the stairs, which have just taken a nosedive off the workbench. Come back here, you. It's not what we want, is it? Just going to quickly pop these back in their position. They obviously weren't 100% fully dry. So just pop them back in there. I'm going to place this down. The second door's really snug. There we go. And there we kind of have it. So I'm just going to show you quickly. So of course it is still wet. The platform is in like so. So I think the best thing to do now is, now this is in and nice and snug, I am going to apply a little bit of glue under here just to hold it in place in a moment, is to literally let that dry in place so that I know it's nice and secure before I move on. It's weird that there's nothing securing it to the actual gables of the building. I wouldn't have minded seeing a little bit more attachment there, but I have noticed there's a groove, and I don't know if you can see that, on the edge of the platforms for where the actual doors go. That's kind of cool. So, the next stage that I've seen is these bits that we cut out of the archways earlier fit underneath here to finish off the look so there's no cardboard showing. So while this is gluing in place, I am just going to pop them in because that will give it a little bit more stability. I'll put quite a bit of glue on these so that the glue actually holds in the platforms as well. So if I just pop them under and pop them in, there we go, there's one. Making sure that the big capstones are at the bottom, so it's not upside down. The last thing we want it to be upside down. Right, so now according to the instructions, and we can do this while this is drying, these little bits which look like, if you turn them that way, they look like E's for echo or M's or W's. These are supposed to go as a little bit of decoration on the front of these. Like, supposed to be like little bits of wood. So I am going to fit them because they do look quite nice. I do kind of like them. Just going to do it with a little bit of glue. Hey, stop falling over. When these fit like M's underneath, they fit in there and just push up like that. And I like that. I think that's kind of cool. It just finishes it off. It gives it a little bit of more like, looks like a little bit more strength to the building. So we do that, we do them, and then we're going to leave the entire thing to dry for a little bit. So they're in place. So that's looking nice now. It's looking, I'm actually quite happy with how that's starting to look. What do you guys think? I think that looks really nice now. Starting to get there. So there's not much more left to do really. There's the doors and mainly the roof and detailing from what I can tell. Oh, and there's beams that go across as well. There's like a bit like we had on the engine shed. There's two beams that go across to hold the roof up. Trusses, or whatever you want to call them. Yeah, so I'm going to let this dry and just dry and make sure it's nice and solid before I continue with the next step. The next part is actually going to be the doors, and this part is going to be rather interesting. I'll lift the camera up a little bit. So, according to this, you can make these doors permanent, so you glue them in place and you leave them, so if you block, say, that archway up or that archway up, it'll be blocked forever. Or you can do what I am going to try to do, which apparently is a bit more difficult, and you install a runner, which is this bit of cardboard here, and basically you make them so you can open and shut them as you like. And I actually really like that idea. I think that is a really cool feature to have, to be able to open and shut your doors as and when you want it, so you can change the scene as much as you like. So what you do is you fold that over. It's going to act a little bit like a curtain rail, like a curtain guider, and then you'll glue that on the inside of the actual building when the doors go on. So these are the doors which are going on this side. You also have the same for the other side for the archways as well, for the larger doors. I haven't cut them out yet, they're still on here, the red ones. So first of all, you've got to fold these over and glue them in place and make sure they're nice and secure, which is what I'm going to do now, like this. So these long ones are the ones that go on the larger archway, the one where the carts and stuff would come into the actual building. So I'm just going to glue all these quickly down and make sure they're nice and secure before I try this, because I don't want any glue catching and them getting stuck. But I do like the idea of being able to open and shut these doors whenever you feel like it. Granted, probably a bit fiddly when you want to do it, but that's not really a problem, because I like the idea of, oh, I want that one shut today, I don't have anything there, and then, a couple of weeks later or however long, you go, actually, I want something in that bay. I bought a new car, I bought a new truck, or, whatever. And I want to be able to use that one today. I want that up against there to make it look like it's unloading. So you can actually play around and it evolves, and it's such an interaction. It's an interaction feature. And I've always said that the best thing about model railways and building kits like this, it's not just the building part, although I really enjoy the building part and the building of the kits and stuff. It's what you get out of it in the long run. It's the play. It's the play, because really we are playing, let's be honest, aren't we? We are playing, that's what it is. Right, so these are all nicely in position. All stuck down. So, now according to this here, what I'm supposed to do is lie the building down on its side, like so. And you place the doors in their positions. Now there is actually grooves. I'm not sure how well you can see that on the camera because the light isn't too great. So I'm just going to turn it this way a little bit. So there is actually little grooves that these slot into down here like so. And that's so they slot back and they don't like disappear, and then you can move them like so. So I don't know where you can see them. My hand's probably in the way. I'll do it from the bottom. So I'll just pull this for a bit further. So they can slot and open and shut like this, like that. And that's what I want to do. So, looking at these doors, is there a larger section? Or are these pretty much the same? Because there's a pattern on them. And I'm trying to work out which way I should have the pattern. And I'm thinking I should have the pattern like a triangle. Keep them with the triangle up like that. So that means they go that way around. So I'm just going to is there a way to stop these from falling through the bottom? That's the question, because once they're in, they're going to fall out. I don't think there is. It might affect these, but it won't affect the others. But that's fine. That's nothing to worry about. So we're going to put these into position. So one there. And that needs to be the other way around so that I get the triangle effect that I want. Like so. These little ones I have to get correct. So that one would be going here. Like that. And these, I think these just sit on top of the platform there. And then that one in like that. And then that one in like that. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Right, okay. Now, this is the fun part, apparently. Is to fix the railing to the little runner, and that's this here. So apparently you just literally glue a top there and then glue it down. That's going to be really freaking fiddly. Right, without trying to glue the doors in place. This should be fun. So we first take the lid off the glue. That might be helpful. We glue this down. I put some glue along here. And then we put that on top of the doors. Don't want it in the runner, because if it gets in the runner, it'll stop the doors. So I'm going to wipe down here so that none of the glue is actually physically in the runner. Last thing I want is to be gluing these doors into place. And then this runner sits literally on top of the doors. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't glue the doors into the sections. And then this sits on top of the doors. Oh, this is fiddly. I might do it a little bit higher, like a couple of mil higher over the doors. Give me 1 second, boys and girls. This is really, really fiddly. I don't want to mess this up if I can. And push that door down. Because I really want these doors to open and shut correctly without any problems. That's the whole idea behind this. It is a little bit tricky getting this into place actually, I'm not going to lie. Come on, there we go. There we go, that's kind of how I wanted it. The problem is that it's not sticking perfectly. That is kind of annoying. end over here. I'm going to run some glue where I want it, just to put the glue on so that I can hold it in place. There we go. Right, push them doors down. Nope, door, don't want glue on the door. Get off, get off, get off, get off, get off. Oh, fiddly, fiddly! I do love a good challenge though, so this is a good challenge. Right, I'm just going to push that like that. And put that down. Bring the top up a little bit so the runner works. Right. I'm just bringing, oops, there's a bit of glue on that door that I didn't want. Don't want you gluing in place, mate. You're not to be glued in place. Let me just get something in there to wipe that glue away. The last thing I want is glue on my doors. So doors are meant to be opened. And shut, obviously. So it has to go right up against the edge of the doors without getting any glue on the doors, which is really hard to do. When you think about it, that's really stupidly hard to do. I did say it is fiddly. Right, there we go. There we go, there we go. Now, with a bit of luck, I'm just going to hold that in place actually because I don't want any glue on the doors. Yeah, we're good, we're good, we're good. We're getting there, we're getting somewhere slowly. Right, I'm going to fix this in place. I'll be back to you when it's done because it's really fiddly. Right, so it's actually been quite a while. As in like 2 hours. I've actually watched an entire film when waiting for this glue to dry and it's still not dried properly. Just because it still gets in the way. But as you can see, it has glued enough to show you the inside of how the rail works. So the doors will slide under there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to put these doors aside for now because I've taken these out and these can just slot back in where I need them to. As for the next stage is to install the actual doors on the archways. So to do this, we get the larger doors here. They're in this sheet here, they're in sheet E. So you take out the larger doors, I'm just going to cut the large doors out. Yeah, somebody is wanting my attention by the sound of my phone. So we'll just cut the larger doors out. These have a black bit at the bottom, or the top, one or the other. I think they might be at the top, to be fair. And what we're going to do is we'll get our glue and you fold these over like we did earlier. We're just going to glue them in place. And these are a little bit different because these have got to negotiate the rail heights as well. And that could be a little bit complicated if you want these to open and shut. So the instructions do clearly say that they're best to be glued in place, but Metcalfe have very kindly given us some more railhead runners, some more runners here, in here and here. Now, I'm going to be really awkward. Put them aside. Because I actually want those to open and shut, would you believe it? I actually think it'd be cool to have all the doors fully operational, fully interactional. Interactional? Is that the best word for it? You get what I mean. So, I'm actually going to install these, but we need to think about the rail height. So I've got myself a little bit of rail here. And what I'm going to do is this. I'll lay the building normal like that. Now you can probably see this end here a little bit better, or this end. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this up so I can show you what I plan to do. So you can see that better. So we know that the rail height is going to be here, because this is going to be the same height as everything else. Or at least that's going to be its maximum height. And we know that these doors sit on top of the rails like so. Now, obviously I don't want them touching the rails. I probably want them a couple of mil above. So if I get my little tweezers here and I just pull these up, I want them probably about there. So what I am going to do is, after learning about what I did last time, is literally just hold that in place as straight as I can. These will fall down anyway because they're loose. And I'm going to do the following. I'm going to get a pencil. And mark on the model the top of that. There. That's where I'm going to glue the rail. Just above that line is where I'm going to put. The runner. So I'll do the same on this side. Right, so, and that gives me, this is what I've learnt to do from shooting this earlier with this side, with this is runner, but I didn't, I chose to do it the hard way out. I think that might actually be dry enough to put the doors in. It does seem to be working to put the doors in. Clip these doors in. If I can get these doors in. Like that. There we go. So I am just going to quickly clip the doors in and see if this runner is actually secure enough for these doors at the minute. Which it seems to be. Right, okay. So at least we've got these doors in. Look, I don't know how well you can see that on camera, but you can open and shut these doors. So I can have them shut like that if I really wanted to. And I have these doors half open. Or completely, or one open, or shut. I'm actually going to take this door out because this side still has some glue on the inside which hasn't dried, so I'm going to let that fully dry but these seem alright on this end. They just slide open and shut. They're not exactly perfect. But hey, it's going to be a standard model, so it's not exactly like it's going to be anything. But until the glue is all fully dried and take the doors out, but that's just to demonstrate how it's going to look in the end. Now this is the fun part. What I am going to do now is I'm going to install these runners on the ends here. So a bit like we did before, I'm going to bend these down, and this time we're going to do it the easier way. I'm going to literally stick these above that line that we've just drawn, so we know where to put these, and it makes it a lot easier when working out the railheads as well. So this one, we've got our line. I don't know if you can make that line out there, but that line is what I'm going to be lining my glue up with. How far across do these go? Pretty much all the way. I'm going to put quite a bit down, as straight as I can, so I know this is going to hold in place securely. And I know that's above the line now. And then I've got to stick the little side down. That's the biggest pain about it, is sticking the thing in place. Right. We're just going to stick this just a mil or so above the line. Like so. And I've found using a pencil, using the tip of the pencil just underneath it, just holds it in place while it sets, which is what I'm going to do here, like so. So, I'm going to go finish that movie, because I haven't yet finished it, would you believe it. What I might have to do is leave this to dry while I go to work, and then come back to it once I've finished work. And then at least I know all the glue is going to be perfectly dry as well. It should be fine. So at least I've got two runners done. I get the next one in here. I like the idea of the doors opening and shutting, not going to lie. I do like that idea. That's why I'm doing this the hard way. Yes, it's going to take me longer, but I want the doors to open and shut, because I want the thing to be interactional. So, I'm going to let this dry while I go to work. What I'll do is, when I'm back home from work, I'll get this one in, let that dry, and then we should be able to pick up from there. We spent far too long on these runners. Right, I'll see you after a day at work. Hi guys, welcome back. So, I've been to work, hence the change of outfit. And in that process, I've managed to get, well, it's actually been nearly 24 hours since I last touched this. But I managed to get all three of the rails in. I got that rail in there, there's a rail in here, so if you can see it, and then this one here, which is just finishing. So that means that we can finally, it's been a while, but we can finally put our doors in. So that rail is still just finishing up. That's for the big slidey doors, and they fall out the bottom, but we can at least get the little shed doors in. So let's just see how we're going to do this then. Right, so we're just gonna, oops, I've lost the door already, well done. Going from work now, I need to lose the door. So the whole idea now is that I literally just slot these up into place. So there's one like that, and there's the other like so. We just retrieve that door that's fallen off the workbench. There's always something that goes flying off the workbench, isn't there? and then it does a Houdini. It just disappears on me. How typical. Ah, there it is. Found it. There we go. Right. So let's put these doors in. Door in there. At least these doors are in and they're secure. I mean, well, they're not 100% secure, they're still quite delicate. So now if I turn this around and I just show you on camera here, I can now open and close these doors whenever I want to. They just slide. Obviously when the model is flat, they'll be much better, because they just kind of fall out right now. So it would have been nice to have maybe some sort of more like secure way of securing these in at the bottom. But hey, beggars can't be choosers, I suppose, so at least we've got them. Just going to close them for now, so you can see what they look like when they're closed. Oh, that looks quite nice. Oh, there is the bigger doors as well, which will slot in. They will slot in here, like so. So if we just quickly slot them in, they actually have grooves in to sit in. So there you go. That's how it looks with all the doors closed. Well, I think that's all right, to be fair. And obviously we've got the bigger ones, and they slot in at the ends, either end of the building. So if I quickly just turn this around and show you this end, you can see that I can just literally slot this in. This is the fully dry one at the back here. Slot that in under there, and we've got a door. That will be, it is falling down because obviously there's going to be track underneath it. So if we just put our track back underneath like that, it will sit something a little bit like that. And then you can open and close them as you want. So I like the idea of the doors opening and closing. I like that idea. We'll put them aside for now anyway. The ones that are going to fall out the bottom because there's no base for them to hold them on, we'll just literally put them out of the way so we don't lose them. Right, so that's on to our next step, which is applying the inside trusses. And a bit like the engine shed that we did on the last video, the trusses are the laser kit trusses. So you glue them, fold them back on themselves like so, and they slot in and they square the entire thing up. So if we just quickly crack on with that, I'll put that to one side, we don't need it, pop out the insides of these, like this. So we've got one truss, like that, that's one. It always remind me of like those girder bridges, and sort of like those large girder bridges that you see over like really big, like wide rivers and stuff that railways and like roads go over. Get rid of these excess triangles, we don't need them. These don't need scoring like the ones did on the engine shed. Put a dab of glue down here. Dab of glue just down here. I don't need a very lot of glue on this. Let me push them together. Do the same with this one. So push them together. They dry pretty easily. There's not much glue on these, so it's alright. And then these slot into the grooves that we've got in the roof here, so they'll be slotting into that little groove there, and they're really quite tight actually. So is there a particular way of doing this? Because one's marked with an X, so the X needs to go on the rail side wall, so obviously there's a particular way of putting these in. So they've got, I don't know if you can see that, there's a little X on the end there. That fits onto there. And then this one fits onto there. I imagine that's because of the railing that we've put in. And they're actually really secure as they are. Obviously I'm going to attach them with glue anyway, just to make sure. And then you get the roof supports in like this. That's actually pretty nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little dab of glue underneath where they go in, just to secure them. Double glue there, double glue there, just so they're secured and they're nice. I know that they're quite tight with the cardboard, they fit in really well. Like, they actually quite need a little bit of force to push them in. But the glue just secures them properly. Watch this little dab of glue and it'll be all nice secured. There. So now we have to do the interior roof. And that's on this bit of card. In fact, it's that entire section of card by the look of it. So it's an entire page. That's interesting, there's no outline around it, so it's just like the entire thing needs doing. So according to my beautiful instruction book here, we've got to fold these 4 little tabs over for some reason. I'm not sure what those tabs do. I mean, do you think they attach to the inside of the gable end? Oh, so yeah, they do. So it overhangs properly. I get it. So we take the inside out, the window inserts, like so, and then these tabs fold underneath. Like that. And that lines the roof up apparently, which is a good feature to have, because I've come across many Metcalfe kits where you kind of have to guess where the roof goes, which can be a little bit irritating at times, I'm not gonna lie. But these actually secure the roof in position, which is nice. It's quite nice. So let's get this roof on. Now we've got our doors in and they're relatively secure and all done, and the girders are done. Girders, whatever they're called. We can now get the roof in. So if we do a line of glue down here where the tabs are, that should line up with the girder wall, which will work quite nicely. At least that's the plan. I do a tiny little bit on the trusses just to make sure the roof is nice and secure up there. Don't need too much. And then we bend. And we're just going to position the best we can to get this into position. Just against one end, I think. Yeah, it should slot in rather nicely. Yeah, there we go. Just turn the model. Turn the model around a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Just making sure the tabs that we've put into place are actually sitting against the gable walls, which they are. Pushing it all down, making sure it's all nice and secure. Yeah, that looks alright. So I do like these Settle and Carlisle kits. They have like an interior roof, which makes it easier when putting the other roof on. Makes it a lot better. Makes it a lot better, in my opinion. So I'm just going to put this aside for 5 minutes and just let that roof dry. I'll be back in a moment when we do the exterior roof. So I've just attached the roof glazing part to the underside of the exterior roof. I mean, there's no need to watch me put glazing on. Everyone's seen that a million times when I've done glazing and stuff before of the models, so there's no need to see any of that really. So literally I'm just going to pop this on top. Like so, just put some glue on there, turn it round and literally just line it up and pop it on top nicely. It does actually overhang quite a little bit, so I'm just trying to get this directly in the middle. Like this, just make sure it's all nice and down and all nice and secure. It's looking like it so far, which is nice. That's nice. It's starting to really take shape now, is this model. Just give it a nice rub. so the glue takes to it. There we go. Just putting that aside. The next thing to do is a little bit of detailing. So we've got some stone detailing which goes on the ends here, and then some that run down either side, I do believe. So where is that on the card kits? So we've got the two side bits here. I think that's what it is. Upper coursework for the shed side walls, and that hides the gap. So let's get them attached, and then we'll do the end ones, and that's to finish off the look. So it's a bit like an extra detail, which is actually kind of nice that you can build up a layer of detail on these kits. And then we've got gable wall one there and a gable wall one there, and they go on the end obviously. So we'll just get them cut out and get these on the shed. Shed? Is it a shed? Is it classed as a shed? Good shed, loading shed? I suppose you call it a shed. It does say good shed, so I suppose we'd have to call it a good shed, won't we? Let's get this open. Come on now. There we go. Right, let's get them in place. I'm going to start by just lifting this up a little bit. Oh, there go my doors. See what I mean by they're not very secure. By lifting this up a little bit, I could use something to put underneath. Cup. There we go. That works. I've got it lifted up a little bit now so I can see it. Let's just put this in. The roof is sticking down. And then we just slide this under. Oh, hey up. Nope, well, fair enough. If you want to do it that way, do it that way. Might make it easier for me. And then just slide this up into place. Here's what I'm gathering. Like this. Just slide it up into place. Line it up a little bit. There we go. And you get something that looks a little bit like that on the top. And you can see that very well. The doors are just all fallen out. How typical. Right, let's put the doors away, because the doors are going to annoy me if I keep doing this. So let's put them away, and I'll put the doors back in when it's in its place on the layout. Otherwise, they're going to be falling out every 5 minutes and just frankly annoying me. Alright, let's do the other side. Come on, glue. Don't need an awful lot of it for this job. And then just in and slot it down. There we go. Nice and simple. Sound like that meerkat again from those insurance adverts. And lastly, we'll do the end ones. These are the triangle shaped ones. I think that's the end of the engine shed. I think there's some detailing to do, which I'll do probably off camera after I get the main construction built. But let's get at least the main construction down, which is starting to look nice. There we go. So we've got the end bit done there, like that under there. I'm not sure how well the camera can pick that up. And then we'll just do the other side, and we'll let this thing dry for a little bit then. So nothing falls out of place. And just push that up, and that finishes off the edging to the roof really nicely. Just finishes off the whole look of the building. Little minor details like that really do make a difference. I don't know if you can see, but it makes a big difference, especially on the ends. Especially on the ends there, it makes a really, really big difference. Right. So, the next thing to do is to add in the barge boards. And they're on here. There's just two of them. And they go on the very end. So we'll just cut these out really quickly, get these on really quickly. And that's the main engine shed done, and then we're on to the little office building, a little side building. If you want to call it a little side building. So we'll tip it back up like that. little bit of glue under here, just on the top of the roof, just to do this, just to finish off the roof construction. Push it all together, and we just clip them literally just underneath, and they sit just underneath the roof, just to finish off. It's like that little bit of extra. I don't know where you can see that. It's that little bit of extra, like 3D detail, which just brings the entire model to real life. And it also covers up some like little things as well, so it's not too bad. There we go. So we'll get that in. Just going to put it on its upside down to do this. I think would be the best idea to do this. By doing it this way, you can get it nice and secure. Right, I'll get the next one in off camera. But you kind of get the idea. Kind of looking for something a bit like that at the end. We can turn it like a bit like that. And it's going to be the same on either end. I'll get the other one in, and then we'll move on to the office. Right, so I've cut all the bits out for the office. So what basically the office is you put these little bits of barge board over the archway that you want the office on, and you basically, you can see how it constructs. You build that round, you put the floor in, you put the roof on, and blah 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 blah. We've all done these little box buildings before, so we know how easy it is. So I'm not exactly going to sit here and talk you through every single step of doing the office, because quite frankly you've seen me do square buildings quite a lot. You know, with the houses, with this, we know how to build a square. It's quite simple and self-explanatory. The only bit that's different is that there's going to be some stairs down the side, but that's really simple. What I'm going to do, however, is I'm going to speed the video and do this in like a speed build, so you can watch me do it really quickly. Because I like it when I speed things up and it's got a bit of music, a bit of jazz music or something like that, I don't know yet. And it makes it all nice. So we're going to do that. So let's speed the video, and I'm going to crack on with this office build. When I was doing the glazing on this bit here, even though I cut it directly on the line where I'm cutting, it didn't actually fit properly, so I had to trim it. So that's why you saw me take it out and put it back in again. Luckily the glue hadn't dried, it was still really sticky. So this attaches on the side of the building like this. Obviously you can see that now I've got the mat on. So can I just get this a better view? So it attaches on the side like this. Just zoom in a little bit, maybe I can zoom in. So it attaches on the side like this, you can see. This is just holding it in place. And the tabs actually work if you get the glazing correct, which is why I was struggling with it earlier, which is probably funny to watch me struggle with a square building. Once this is dried, then we apply the internal roof, then the external roof. So there's nothing I can do until this really dries now. So I'm just going to put this aside for 10-20 minutes, so let it dry, and then I'll be back and commence the speed build. Self-explanatory, these little roof ridge tile things on the top there. Hopefully we can see them. You know, just the capping stones on the steps and the windows, ledges, basically stuff like that. Nothing really too special done on camera, just little details which are pretty much self-explanatory. You put the little windows in, you put the thing on the roof, and it finishes it off. But that is the finished model. And I'm really liking this, so I can't wait to see this on the railway. So I'm going to put this somewhere on the new yard extension area, put a couple of trucks in, and we'll have a look at it as if it was in operation. I'll even put the doors back in for this as well, because obviously the doors keep falling out until it's in its permanent position. So let's put it somewhere and have a play. And there we have it on the layout. So I'll just put a few little trucks in front of here. Let's peer through this window. I'm not at this door, sorry. You can see there's like a little van just in there, just getting loaded up. Obviously this is not in its final position, but you can see that there is trucks in it. So if we bring you around to here, you can see it being loaded up just here. This is the little office here. I'm not sure how well the camera picks that up with it being relatively very close to the actual model. So that's the goods shed. Obviously this is not its final position by far. This is just placed down so I can see what it looks like and get a gauge of the size. And obviously bear in mind that I've just placed it just next to the engine shed there. So this will be where the trucks and goods trains get loaded up. I'm going to try and just get a little bit closer in so you can just see inside. Yeah, I don't think that is too shabby really. You can see the trucks in there as they're getting loaded. These vans need a good dust. So I might have some people doing some different stuff, you know, doing different things, loading up the trains. But I don't think that's too bad of a kit. It was actually quite a nice build. Took a while with getting some of the tricky parts done. So what I'm going to do is going to leave this here. I'm going to go and I will see you next time. So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. and I just got paid, so it's time to go and order some track. So the next video should hopefully be doing something with track, fingers crossed. If I don't get bored and decide to do it with Metcalfe Kit. Anyways, I will see you in the next video, guys. Until then, take care. And yeah, I'll see you next time.